We have a duty to ourselves to curate a life that we love to live. And how do you do that? You have something inside you that makes you want to explore life a little more or do something different, but you can't seem to get yourself to take that risk. Almost a year ago today is when I submitted my 2 weeks notice for my job in property management, and it was a little bit difficult for me to choose to leave that. But it all comes down to one question. How can I curate a life that I love? After all, self-love is creating a life you don't constantly want to escape from. How can you create enough space for yourself to exist and love life, to be happy in the morning, to create moments of small joys? You're invited to explore the rose garden. Art is all about the stories that we tell, right? Art is how we tell ourselves the truth and how we talk about life with ourselves and others. And here's just a little story I have to tell you today. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, my grandfather had a rose garden in his front yard. He would ask me and my sisters to come over and he would let us pick out a rose to take home with us. When I was a kid, I was about half the size of those roses, so they were just kind of like towering over my head. And I remember looking around myself inside that rose garden and it felt like a magical forest. And I took my job so seriously. I would like walk around everywhere and be like,
okay, it must be the best rose.
And I would look at every single one. There were all these different kinds of colors. And I would take my time with it. Eventually I would find one that I liked. I would point it out and my grandfather would cut it from the bush and then he would cut the thorns from the stem and then he would send it home with us. And to this day, it's my earliest happy memory. I thought it would be a beautiful, beautiful exercise to invite you to the rose garden too, so that you too can pick out a rose to take home with you. I'm gonna show you some of these paintings because I love them dearly. I explored some new materials with this collection that I hadn't done prior. I also explored some new styles, all in this idea to bring the small joys closer to us. When I was creating this series, I created 5 abstracted roses using the magenta ink and the gold acrylic ink. I really love how you can see the gold reflected on this guy. I posted on my Instagram story which one people liked most, so I'd love it if you also wanted to choose a rose that you love the most and let me know in the comments. This collection has 3 different kinds of paintings in it. It has beautiful abstracted roses, it has some kitty cat paintings, I also have some tulips in there, as well as some figurative work. I feel like I always need to incorporate that figurative work because it's really a callback to my roots and where I came from back whenever I was studying art in art school. But if you go to the page for this collection, it asks you to pick a rose to take home. And then we also have our cats in the garden. So my aunt still lives on the same street as where my grandfather lived. And there's a lot of stray cats hanging around, not to mention I also have my own kitties, which I love dearly, and if we're painting small joys, of course it's going to be all about
the things that I love to paint, okay?
Then we also have those last 2 figurative works. They're the 2 larger ones, the 9x12, and they are these 2 girls going home with their roses. This collection really does mean so much to me, and even just visiting the collection page on my website would be like an absolute dream. Let me know what you guys think about this collection, if it sparks any memories for you. I also wanted to take a moment to share some anecdotes shared by other people who have heard about this collection, like this one person on TikTok, and they had a very similar story. Grandmother had a cherry tree with a rope swing, and they stated that whenever someone took the house of their grandmother, they removed the tree, sadly, and something very similar happened with my grandfather's rose garden. Whenever those people moved in, the roses were gone. I can still see the pots where the roses would have lived. But there's no more roses. My aunt did take 2 rose bushes to her house to keep alive, so that whenever I move into my own house one day, I will have my own rose garden. It warms my heart, makes me very happy. As always, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is a gift. I really do consider it a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe. I'm waiting for it. I'm watching you. What can I say?